ever appearance at the Filmfare Awards where you were not given tickets, but you came on someone else's ticket?
Actually came on Arpita's ticket, I remember. And Salman Bhai was performing and I wanted to, and very last minute, I decided to come. Obviously, I didn't know Jitesh back then. And, sorry? No, my first performance ever was also Filmfare.
Yeah.
But he's talking when I attended Filmfare for the first time. In 2001, like Karan said, when he hosted for the first time, Janhvi was 4 years old that time. So, you just said I was 4. I just wanted to know so I can say this joke. But anyway. So, which you?
He's just getting back to me. Yes, she is 26 years older, younger than me, and I'm very proud of that fact.
But genuinely, I think when you think about Filmfare, when you think of hosting, obviously you've had Mr. Shah Rukh Khan, you've had Saif Ali Khan, who have done a wonderful job, and Karan Johar as well. I always get glued to the TV. I used to when Karan used to host, and then now for the last couple of years he's not been hosting. So it's going to be great to see him back on the stage, and he's going to. It's a comeback. It's a comeback. Don't call it a comeback, but it's a comeback of sorts, and he's going to take over the stage in Gujarat. Some censorship rules will be placed, but besides that, it's going to be great because Karan's a great host, a great dost. And if he doesn't like you, he'll be a great ghost also, as in ghost you. But I think just seeing him on stage, it's going to be the most entertaining Filmfare, I think, in the last decade or so. I vouch that this one's going to be the best one.
Varun, tell us about your first performance at Filmfare.
What did you say?
I remember there was a technical glitch that was
It's
your
so
first
ironic
performance.
that year there was Alia, Varun and Sid all debuted and none of them won the debut award. And it was their first performance. And ironically, Ayushmann won.
Ayushmann, he deserved it.
Yeah, of course, it's fantastic.
I was just excited that I got to perform that year. And you didn't, Alia and Sid didn't perform, Ayushmann didn't perform. Did Ayushmann perform that
All
year?
three of you performed.
No. You're talking about Screen.
Oh, Screen, you're.
See, this is the love he has.
I don't know, you're everywhere that year.
I remember.
You remember.
But there was a glitch, and when I was going for my performance, I've come on stage, the lights are shut, the lights come on, and the music just stopped midway. And bang in front of me, I see Mr. Salman Khan just watching me like that. And I have got so scared because I'm like, music band ho gaya, मैं क्या करूँ, नाचूँ, क्या करूँ? I started sweating. I've gone back. I've told Jitesh, क्या हो रहा है? He's like, no, don't worry. People will understand. We'll edit this part or whatever. Don't worry. You start again. And that whole performance, I remember Bhai had just made like eye contact with me, and I had to look into his eyes and dance, which is not easy because I was trying to smile and all, and he, even if he's smiling, he won't smile. So he was just looking at me like. So I didn't know if he liked my performance or no, but I think he did like it eventually. It was? Janhvi was 12 that time. That performance.
Janhvi, tell us about your first association with Filmfare.
Well, firstly, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone in this dais for including me in this celebration of what we all know has been a milestone year for Indian cinema. And I think also a celebration of this amazing state in our country that's given us so much culturally, given us cinema so much. And I, in fact, in the past year, have spent a lot of time in Gujarat. I shot significant bits of our upcoming film, Mr. and Mrs. Mahi, in Ahmedabad. I went for my cricket camp in Baroda. We shot another schedule in Surat. So Gujarat really does feel like home. And I really don't think there's a better place for us to have this Filmfare celebration. And yeah, my first memory of Filmfare, I think, it was actually with Mom. So as everyone knows, Mom wasn't a very outgoing person. But when it came to Filmfare, at home, it was always like a family outing. Like we'd get ready, we'd go, and she was very excited to show me, all of these amazing performances. And I'd pick out her dress. And I remember the first Filmfare that I ever went for. I picked out what she wore. She wore this black gown. तो हाँ मैं हाथ पकड़ के पहुँच जाती थी देखने के लिए सब कुछ. So yeah.
And finally, your first ever performance at Filmfare
Was also film. My first ever stage performance was also Filmfare. Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I think I think that's when I actually fell in love with dancing and performing on stage for a live audience. And yeah, that's because you all were so welcoming and so encouraging, and I can't wait to be back on the Filmfare stage.
Genuinely, as artists, when we perform at Filmfare, it's always the best. Like behind the scenes, you don't see how much hard work Anu puts in, or how much of the other, the other editors over there or the other journalists over there help you out from Times Group. And Jitesh is always welcoming and comforting, especially when you're new, you're full of nerves, and even when you've done a few years in this business, you get nervous, just before facing a crowd. And I believe this time in Gujarat, the capacity is of like 10.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's such an honor to be here today. My heartfelt thank you to to everyone part of Gujarat Tourism for actually making a huge place in their hearts for us at Filmfare and the entire Bollywood fraternity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Harit Shukla. Thank you for being such a spine and support to Bollywood and, of course, to Brand Filmfare. This is the 69th Filmfare Award. It will be Varun's favorite. It is 69th, and next year will be the 70th, which will be my favorite because 7 is my lucky number. So I'm very thrilled that I'm actually hosting on this absolutely spectacular moment in time, going to Gujarat, celebrating with the land of culture, tradition, and now empowerment and economic growth. It just makes it the best location, because what we are looking for, what is cinema? Cinema is two things. It's culture, is displaying our culture on celluloid, and huge economic growth at the cinema halls. And that is what Gujarat stands for. So ladies and gentlemen, we could not be in a better location than Gift City on the 28th, and of course we have 27th, a two-day event, which is again a first. As Jitesh said, that there are many exciting performances. You already heard that there's Ranbir, my boy Varun, my girl Janhvi, there's the lovely Sara, there is Karthik, there is Karina, and there's of course Ayushman and Manish and myself. And this is also marks the debut of Rohit Gopakumar into the crazy world of Filmfare. I have to say that Rohit has been such a solid force and a force of nature at the Times Group, and for him to help things for the first time is daunting and exciting in equal measure. But I think he has the absolute support of Team Filmfare, led admirably by Jitesh Pillai. He says with great humility, but 20 years in one organization is no mean feat, ladies and gentlemen. 20 years to run the magazine and an award ceremony. We make movies, and running award shows and a magazine is all the same thing, because you're dealing with fragility all the time. Fragile egos, fragile timelines, and of course fragile deliverables. He's done that with such, I think I would say, with abandon and always with a smile on his face, never showing really what happens behind the scenes. Rohit, I should say that this is your first, and I'd like to tell you about my first. So the reason I started hosting was because of Filmfare Awards. I was then asked by the team of Filmfare in the year 2000 actually. No, 2001, sorry. It was that year that I was asked to host. And of course, I hosted that year as the first time I've ever been on stage hosting any ceremony. And that began my journey as a host. So it's been actually, Jitesh, if it's your 20 years, it's my 22 years of hosting. And subsequently, of course, I've hosted a fair amount, as you might know. And so I have an emotional attachment to the enterprise that is Filmfare. And let's all know and admit that this is the most archived history, in history of cinema. It is such an archived award. Winning a Filmfare is really truly going into the archives of Hindi cinema and Indian cinema, because now Filmfare is cutting across all languages. So to have that moment in history is what most creative artists aspire for. And that's what makes Filmfare not just powerful, but exceptionally emotional and special to all the nominees and winners. And of course, like Jitesh said, being so, and I wish that